We're going to change the tone of things this morning and talk music now. My next guest is an amazing singer-songwriter who's touring across the country right now, and he's made a stop in one of his favorite places, Key West. He's going to give us an update on what his life on the road is like, and also fill us in on where we can catch him at this week. John, thank you so much for being with me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, John, are you happy to be here in Key West right now?
That's a silly question. Of course I am. This is just about my most favorite place to come and play.
Why is it your favorite?
It's Key West. It's hard to argue with it.
Questions, aren't I?
It's hard to argue with being in Key West. You know, I'm down here a lot, so it's I love the vibe down here. I love the shows down here. They're some of the most fun I ever get to have on stage.
Now, John, let's talk about your music for a minute. You just released your latest album, Lucky Number 9,
Yep.
and you really hit it with this album, John.
Yeah, it surprised me with how well it's done. It came out recently, and it went to #2 on Amazon.com, and we had the first single hit #1 on Amazon.com's Hot New Releases. So yeah, it's definitely been holding its own.
What about your single, Make Me Believe?
That's the one that went to #1. It was weird. The CD was out about 2 weeks when it happened, and I noticed it just kind of crawling up a little bit. And you know, of course, we hit Facebook and kind of let everybody know to go get it. And within a couple of days, it went to #1. I was actually in Key West the night it went #1.
Wow.
And so that was a pretty good feeling.
You celebrated, of course.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Now, you released a couple of albums. What was different, though, about this one, John, than your other albums?
Well, it was the first one done in my new studio. I just built a brand new studio. So it's the first release that I've done in the new studio. I've done a bunch of stuff in the old place, but the new studio was built really well, and it just feels good to be in there. And when I was making the CD, it just felt great. Like there was a different vibe. There was just a cool feeling about how everything was while the recording were going. And I don't know. There was just that little magic with it.
Everything
So
just fell.
we titled it correctly, Lucky Number 9. So.
And now, when we were talking about your single being on the charts, being so high up there, that was placed with some artists that inspire you.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
You know, when you sit there and you look at your CD sitting next to you, like Third Eye Blind and Default and folks like that, it's a really cool feeling. It's very, especially 9 records in, as I was telling you. You know, 9 records in, you start to think, okay, am I still going to be relevant? Am I still making music people want to hear? So to sort of log into Amazon.com and see me sitting there with, there was one day, it was like Matchbox 20, John Mayer, Third Eye Blind, me, and I forget who else.
Chris
I think
Daughtry.
Colby Calais, and yeah, I think Daughtry, and and I'm just sitting there like, wow.
Your name
So
was
it's
right
really
there.
a cool feeling, yeah.
Are those all artists who inspire you?
Yeah, my music is definitely right in that same vein. So it's a very cool feeling to sit there and see, my contemporaries, the people that I drew from, to see my CD sitting right there with them on a chart is kind of cool.
John, I was looking through some of your photos on your website and on Facebook, and I love looking through your photos because you have so much enthusiasm and passion that just comes through in those photos.
Thank you. It's fun. My shows are very spontaneous. Especially, I play Irish Kevin's a lot down here, and I play Smokin' Tuna a lot down here. And the shows are very spontaneous. I don't know what's happening minute to minute. I just very much take what the room gives me and I go with it. So, and I don't make set lists. So the show, you can come to the show 10 times, you're going to see 10 completely different shows. And I think that's part of the fun is even for me, it's unpredictable. I don't know what's going to happen during that day. So it makes it a lot of fun. And for me, that's what I want. I want people to go home from my shows, man, saying like, wow, that was so much fun. We got to go see him again. So.
What's it like being on the road, John, living on the road?
It's awesome. It's tiring. It wears you out, and it's the greatest thing in the world.
Okay.
I get home this coming Friday for a day and a half. I haven't been home since May 11th.
Where is home?
I live about 40 minutes south of Boston.
Boston, okay.
So.
You haven't been home since when?
May 11th.
Okay, so
and
you're
it's
excited.
June 22nd when I get home.
Tell me what like a typical day in your life is like on the road.
It really depends on, well, it really doesn't depend if it's a gig day or not. I mean, we gig most days. I've been on tour with Joe Bachman, as you know. And we tour constantly. We're on the road constantly. So it's wake up wherever I am, hotel or band house or whatever I'm in. And if I don't have to check out that day, it's pretty much, you know, wake up, work out. Because that's the hardest thing on the road is actually staying in shape because we live such odd hours. If you don't actually do something to stay in shape, the road will catch you. So I work out, and of course food. Depending on the gig, if it's an acoustic gig or a full band gig, I generally try to get to the venues early so I can load in, get set, take care of any gear problems, which are inevitable. You know, just traveling as much as we do, stuff breaks.
Right.
Set up, sound check, dinner, gig, sleep. It's funny because a lot of times people are like, oh my God, you get to see so many places. We really don't. We'll roll into a town, check into a hotel, get some sleep, get some food, work out, load in, do a gig, go to sleep, leave. So there's a lot of times, that's why I like coming to Key West, because we get to stay here for a week and I get to go do stuff, like as opposed to a lot of times we're on the road for one day, in and out. So
you kind of get to be a tourist here in Key West.
I do a little bit, yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay, and tell everybody where you're going to be at this week. What days?
Every night, Smokin' Tuna, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So
10 o'clock every night, 10 o'clock till the last person wants to leave.
Okay. And you've already said that all of your gigs are unexpected, so we can't tell our viewers what they're going to see because we don't know.
Nope. Joe and I will be on stage every night, and like I said, we will take requests pretty much from song one to the last song of the night, so it really depends on the crowd. So if you've got something you want to hear, come out and ask us for it. Most times we can play it.
And I guarantee that you'll see a lot of passion and you'll see a lot of enthusiasm from John. So thank you so much for being on the show this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us right now, but we're going to be right back after these messages. Stay with me.